The Financial Conduct Authority's (FCA) interventions and regulatory actions were central to the eventual closure and liquidation of Amigo Loans, primarily due to the firm's history of irresponsible lending. Regulatory investigation and enforcement. The FCA launched an investigation into Amigo Loans that uncovered significant failings in its practices between November 2018 and March 2020. Irresponsible lending. The core failure was Amigo's inadequate affordability checks on both borrowers and their guarantors. This meant loans were often approved even when they were unaffordable, leading to a high risk of consumer harm. Public censure over fine. In February 2023, the FCA issued a public censure against Amigo. The regulator stated it would have imposed a fine of nearly £73 million, but it waived the financial penalty. This unusual step was taken because Amigo successfully demonstrated that a fine would cause it serious financial hardship and threaten its ability to meet its commitments to pay customer redress under a court-sanctioned arrangement. Intervention in the redress scheme. The sheer volume of compensation claims for missold loans meant Amigo could not survive without a scheme of arrangement to cap its liabilities. The FCA's role was to ensure the best possible outcome for customers in this process. First scheme opposition. Amigo's initial scheme of arrangement proposal in 2021 was rejected by the High Court after the FCA formally objected. The FCA argued the plan was inherently unfair as it placed a disproportionate burden on customers while leaving shareholders and bondholders largely unimpaired. The regulator insisted a fairer compromise was necessary. Second scheme approval. Following the FCA's intervention and continuous engagement, Amigo proposed a revised scheme. The FCA confirmed it would not oppose the improved plan, which included better terms for compensation creditors and had the support of an independent creditors committee. The High Court ultimately sanctioned the revised scheme in May 2022. This scheme was intended to provide more redress than customers would receive if the firm went into immediate administration. Path to liquidation. The scheme of arrangement was intended to pave the way for Amigo to restart lending, but only under strict FCA conditions to ensure responsible conduct and good customer outcomes. Conditional return to lending. The FCA permitted Amigo to begin a limited lending pilot in October 2022, but only if the firm met stringent conditions, including overhauling its systems and controls to the regulator's satisfaction. Failure to fund. Despite the scheme being approved and the conditional allowance to resume lending, Amigo ultimately failed to secure the necessary funding to execute its planned business revival. The business could not raise the capital required to meet its compensation obligations and operate a new, compliant lending model. Voluntary wind-down. In March 2023, Amigo announced its voluntary wind-down and eventual liquidation, as it had run out of time and options. The FCA's initial regulatory crackdown on irresponsible lending created the need for the compensation scheme, and the subsequent financial strain, compounded by the firm's inability to secure new capital, is what directly led to its closure.